Bună seara, dragi telespectatori! Iată-ne ajunși la o nouă ediție a Lecției de Business, Lecția de Economie, cu un invitat special în această seară pe care îl provocăm să ne povestească din experiența ei cum se dezvoltă orașele durabile și orașele sustenabile. E vorba de Maggie Kitshoff, director al proiectelor rezidențiale Prime Capital din 2016. Doamna Maggie are o experiență de peste 16 ani în proiecte imobiliare, în special în proiectele de dezvoltare rezidențială de nișă. Ea a fondat și a condus o afacere bazată în Johannesburg în perioada 2002-2016, la scurt timp după ce a absolvit cursurile Universității Northwest din Africa de Sud. Welcome from Iași!
Thank you very much. Very nice to be here.
Precizez pentru telespectatorii noștri că beneficiem și de traducerea unui translator care ne va facilita dialogul cu doamna Maggie și aș începe prin a o provoca pe doamna Maggie să ne povestească mai multe despre proiectul Silk District și cum a luat naștere acest proiect și cum ați ajuns la Iași.
I'm from Prime Capital. We're a large and integrated real estate developer with a long history and development history in Romania and the CEE region, with only over 40 projects delivered and redevelopments. We have this long-term vision for Romania. We're absolutely, as a company, in love with Romania. We think there's real long-term sustainability here. And we started by focusing our efforts for residential and the office market specifically. We also have a retail side of the business by looking at Bucharest and all the secondary cities. Now, of course, Iași presents a very unique opportunity. All these wonderful and creative businesses has developed over the last 5 or 7 years in Iași and has had this exponential growth. Yet there is this absolute limited office stock on the market, together with limited quality residential stock. And Iași presented for us, as a result of all the good work that has been done by local businesses in Iași, it's presented us with this unique opportunity to develop a project that is large and mixed use and very dynamic and ambitious. So we had this idea that we would want to build this kind of mixed use development that's in line with international trends, and we found the perfect opportunity to do it in Iași.
Ați elaborat întâi proiectul și după aceea ați ales Iașul sau ați ales Iașul ca fiind al doilea oraș ca mărime al țării și ați venit cu un proiect elaborat aici?
It's always a chicken and an egg type situation. We envision ourselves developing large-scale projects, but of course you cannot divorce a project from a site. So if you find a land plot, then you can really start to develop a concept. The theme here today is to talk about sustainability in development, and of course, if we look at land plots in a greater urban area like we're doing in Iași, we have to look at whether we can develop things in a project and mix things in that project that is sustainable in the sense that there's a real demand for it, and that it will only expand existing infrastructure instead of emptying other residential blocks or office blocks, but simply expanding the infrastructure and allowing the city to grow, allowing the businesses to further grow, consolidate their businesses and further grow.
Silk District este un proiect de nișă rezidențial. El putea fi aplicat și într-un alt oraș din România sau Iașul v-a atras și din perspectiva altor factori, cum ar fi un mediu universitar de excepție, o populație activă destul de mare și o capitalizare financiară în zonă care permite achiziționarea de către viitorii proprietari?
Yeah, I think you really summing up very well. Iași presents, as I said before, a unique opportunity for us to develop a niche mixed use between residential and offices. Those are our two primary functions. There is a very immediate need in Iași today to expand the office infrastructure, and there's an immediate need for quality residential units. And then further to this, There's been this incredible expansion of businesses. So of course, there is the need for businesses to expand and consolidate, the need for businesses to expand into Class A office spaces. And then looking at universal factors that we see all over the world, people want to be closer. They want communication between where they work and they live, because we all, no matter where we are in the world, are looking for more time and being more time efficient and having more time to spend with our family. We all, of course, want to spend our time, whether we do it at home or at the office, in an environment that sits well. And this is what Silk District offers, and this is how we develop the project. Of course, it helps that there's a large university footprint as well, and not only a large university footprint, but also very impressive. Lots of international students coming here. I think a project like Silk District is the kind of thing that will help the city to also retain skills. At the moment, there's a lot of hemorrhaging of skills leaving the city when people leave the university. And why can Yash not be a city where young people study and decide to live and stay? And even those international students, why is this not a city to be chosen we choose other cities in the world?
Doamna Kitshoff, haideți să încercăm să explicăm proiectul pas cu pas și să vedem cum l-ați putea explica dumneavoastră telespectatorilor noștri pentru a deveni o primă prezentare cât mai credibilă. Care sunt beneficiile unui proiect de tip mixed use pentru firmă și pentru locuitorii acestei?
Well, let me give you a broad overview of the project. We talk in Silk District about two primary functions. The first of which is 100,000 square meters of Class A offices, which will carry a BREEAM Excellent certification, which means the project is designed, executed and managed in a sustainable and green manner. Then we will add 2,500 apartments, different types of apartments and layouts that will cater to the medium market. These will be high quality units at competitive prices. Now, what do we do with all of that? We create a big urban master plan that ensures that these two functions are very well integrated together, and that we're creating a large district, literally a large neighborhood that communicates well with the outside area and inspires the rest of the city and areas around it to develop beautiful, iconic projects. In order for us to attract all these residential clients as well as office clients, we need to bring support services into the development, which is as important an aspect as any of the other two functions, even though they play a secondary role. And I mean by that is we put as much thought into designing those secondary functions as we do into designing layouts for the offices and the residential. What does it mean? What can make my day or your day easier when we live in Silk or when we work in Silk? Or maybe we do both things. It depends. Well, for me, I'll take myself as a personal example. I'm a mother of two. I'm a wife. I am a very busy woman. I travel a lot. And I want to spend as much time between work with my family. But of course, outside of work, we have to do certain things. I have to do my nails, that's just what I do. I have to do my hair. Sometimes I have to go to the doctor or the dentist. It would be very helpful for me if I could do that and fit that into a 15-minute period when I'm at the office, instead of having to do that on a Saturday and driving somewhere to do it. So those are typically support functions that we will introduce there. It's really things that people need on a day-to-day basis, not something that you would drive to the mall to for a weekend to do, shopping or buy or...
Ați putea adăuga și care ar putea fi avantajele pentru autoritățile locale care se simt sufocate de dezvoltările rezidențiale, pentru că nu au soluții pentru dezvoltarea infrastructurii, și cum acest proiect de tip brownfield poate să propună soluții care să devină prietenoase cu comunitatea.
Yes, your brownfield regeneration projects is exactly the kind of projects that cities need, because if we think about it, what we have been doing for many years in developing cities is to just simply expand the urban footprint of cities. So destroying forests and destroying green areas and just going further out. Of course, the further we expand cities, the more green areas we destroy, but we also demand more investment in infrastructure, and that becomes chaotic. But on the other hand, many areas, and especially the former industrial areas in cities all over the world, have been developed a long time ago. They're centrally located within cities. They're already surrounded by really good infrastructure, from roads to utilities to public transport. And a lot of these sites all over the world, it's not unique to Iași or unique to Romania, a lot of these sites no longer serve a real purpose. So they're kind of these derelict, really unsightly sites that sit in real good positions in cities, but we don't. So from an infrastructure point of view, we've, as taxpayers, have paid for it a long time ago, yet there's no benefit anymore for the city. And therefore, it's important that we regenerate these land plots, because it already has the infrastructure, and that infrastructure is often, as we see at Iași, it's a fact. We've done the studies. That infrastructure is not utilized in the way it can. It's not optimized. And by building outside of cities area or in green fields, it means not only do we need to expand the infrastructure there, we also place additional pressure on the city, because now people have to drive back into the city to work. The concept of Silk, which is a large master plan, the advantage of this is simply as follows. We typically now do as developers what city halls used to do many years ago, and that's by doing very good infrastructure planning and urban development and urban planning. So instead of going a lot of smaller projects being built and staggered without communicating with each other, without integrating infrastructure, without using infrastructure around it efficiently, we actually go and plan an integrated infrastructure and an urban footprint and master plan first before we design buildings. We design first that infrastructure to communicate. We centralize green areas. Those green areas are today not existent in Silk District at the Teba site. Today it's a site, it's derelict, it's got a few buildings, the buildings are not safe, and we actually bring the green back instead of destroying the green. We centralize green areas. We will have over 3.5 hectares of green parks and green areas and recreational areas, but more importantly, they are designed and centralized so that they are optimized. Meaning not only will the residents or the office tenants and the employees in Silk be able to use this or benefit from it, but also everybody around, the surrounding communities will benefit from it. Furthermore, we give the opportunity to the local authorities to connect the areas behind Silk, typically the former land use was developed, and around it was really a low-cost type housing. Those buildings and those neighborhoods cannot redevelop because it's literally cut off from the city right now. A project like Silk now not only connects that area with the city, it also brings investment to the area. It makes a site that is potentially dangerous more safe, and all of those parks are now accessible to the areas all around it. It's a district. It's not a closed development. It's there for everybody to enjoy. I think I can obviously talk for hours about the benefits. It's very exciting.
Noi știm că atunci când apar proiecte de regenerare urbană, e un semn că orașul crește. Pentru că e mult mai simplu să faci proiecte simple decât proiecte care să suplinească sau să completeze antreprenoriatul local și autoritățile publice locale. De ce v-ați asumat un proiect așa de greu la Iași?
Iași it's the perfect city to develop Silk.
La marginea Europei?
At the edge of Europe.
La bordura de est al Uniunii Europene?
Of the European Union.
Dar totuși sub umbrela NATO?
Under the umbrella of NATO.
a city with wonderful creative businesses, incredible entrepreneurship. It's been attracting multinational companies. Those companies are expanding their
Ieșenii au
businesses
mai
here.
trăit o experiență de proiect de dezvoltare și regenerare urbană și au văzut că efectele sunt pozitive. Eu cred că ei așteaptă să vadă și din partea unui alt investitor, cum e Prime Capital, că suntem capabili să răspundem corect la o provocare antreprenorială. Deși costurile de realizare a unui asemenea proiect sunt colosale.
Of course, it's complicated and there's a cost to the project. Of course, as part of our business model, not only do we develop sustainable projects, it also has to be financially sustainable. And it's a partnership. There is incredible entrepreneurship in the city. Those businesses has grown. Therefore, there's a real need for an additional infrastructure for offices and additional quality residential units. The demand is today already exists in Iași as a result of what has been happening in Iași, and as a result, it gives us the opportunity to develop a project that's financially feasible and will be on price competitive with on the residential side with what is in the market, and will offer at competitive prices also Class A office spaces. Therefore, it's a project that makes sense for everybody, for all stakeholders.
Nu știu dacă știți, dumneavoastră ați ales o zonă în care părinții noștri lucrau în fabricile vechiului regim al lui Ceaușescu. Și ar trebui să spunem telespectatorilor că aici e farmecul regenerării urbane, pentru că veți da naștere sau renașteți o zonă care stă de mulți ani într-o paragină.
Exactly. It's really where the name comes from. Silk District. It was the former textile factory, as you mentioned, and of course, you know, once it was an area, and that area had a purpose around the factory site or the platform, now known as Teba. And now it's just really become an eyesore. And who looks at that every day? It's okay for you or me who drive past, but behind it sits hundreds of residential units, and that is the view. And this is exactly the kind of thing that the project has enough scale that it will immediately transform that area, and it will immediately attract other investors and other developers, perhaps not developers who can develop to such a scale, but now it gives opportunity to smaller developers to start and uplift prices. Pricing will go up. People's investments that they already have in the area can now suddenly grow. It really is a win-win situation. I've personally seen it happen, and I know that often we are not certain of change, or not positive that change can happen, or such change can happen. I've seen it in my life, how areas have regenerated over very short periods of time, 5-7 year project plans, entire areas, entire cities being rebuilt. We've seen it happening in the United States, we've seen it happening in Canada. There's examples of millions of square meters of industrial sites that was transformed. And people ask the same questions, the same noises was made also in those cities. And then today there is complete secondary office hubs with completely different kind of lifestyles, and I think it's incredibly exciting.
Zona pe care ați ales-o pentru dezvoltarea proiectului făcea parte din periferia orașului. Acum este foarte aproape de centrul nostru cultural, social. Dacă pe vremea părinților noștri acolo lucrau mii de oameni, după finalizarea proiectului, estimați cam câți ieșeni își vor găsi locuri de muncă în zona regenerată?
It's a sum that I can almost take it from the other side. There will be, let's say, roughly 10,000 new employees that will be in Silk District, whether they are people working in
Un
existence.
număr comparabil cu ceea ce am pierdut de 30 de ani.
What we lost 30 years ago or within the past 30 years.
Absolutely. I'm not very certain of the number of the historic number, but I will tell you from my point of view why I would say 10,000. I believe that silk. If I could build this office development today, we would be able to fill up that office space. There is a lot of expansion plans and consolidation plans for existing businesses in Iași, and they cannot do it today, and they cannot plan further because they do not have the infrastructure in which they can do it. That means if we consider that every office project that is announced that I'm now on the market for delivery over the next 3 years, in addition to silk and in addition to office buildings that currently exist, if we add that additional office space, and we believe that would mean that 10,000 jobs were effectively created by businesses expanding, whether it is in silk or businesses that is moving into silk and consolidating into silk, and other companies coming into existing buildings. That's the impact that this project will have. Of course, I'm not talking about the actual jobs that silk will create just from pure development point of view over the next 5 years. We're talking about resources, construction, we're talking about design work, consultation. Already today there are many businesses and many individuals that we employ as a result of simply planning silk. And then, of course, once we've built it, there will be maintenance. There will be small SME type businesses that will have the opportunity to come into the service industry, and they can grow their businesses in a sustainable way because they will directly benefit from the new community that is established at silk. And the list can go on. You know, there will be gardens to maintain. There will be new businesses and investors who will be attracted to Iași. I really always say that we have the opportunity to develop silk as a result of what has happened to date in Iași. Local businesses and the local trends and business currents here has made it possible for us to come and take the opportunity by developing silk. Now, once we develop silk, businesses will of course continue to expand, new businesses will arise, new companies will come here, and of course from there new opportunities will be created again, and that will again attract other investments and other things. So it really is difficult to predict exact numbers, but that it really is a snowball effect. It's a wonderful thing.
Pentru că ne apropiem de pauza mediană a emisiunii, aș vrea să vă provoc să vă aduceți aminte că și Africa de Sud și România au avut un moment comun, 1989, când Africa de Sud a scăpat de apartheid și România a scăpat de comunism. Românii în comunism au fost constrânși, au fost îngrădiți să gândească liber, să aibă o funcție antreprenorială, să exerseze instrumente bancare și de multe ori ei, din cauza asta, sunt destul de suspicioși și neîncrezători că ceea ce li se prezintă poate fi și pus în operă. Prime Capital va reuși să implementeze proiectul ăsta așa cum îl povestește sau peste 3 ani de zile ne veți aduce amendamente?
In 3 years' time you're going to come and say we're making changes to the project?
I understand the skepticism. It's natural for us to be skeptics, especially if we've had bad experiences. It's how the human mind works. We register the negative to protect ourselves. Our approach is completely different. We invest a lot upfront in infrastructure. That's the way you should do it. So. And we developed the project as a single concept and a single master plan. The project essentially that we are presenting today, that is essentially the project that we are building. Can there be changes in the future? Yes, but the changes will not be material to the project. As the years carry on, this is essentially a project that we will develop over 4 or 5 years. Then we might find that in 2 years' time that there's a need for even an additional 25,000 square meters of offices, let's say, for example, or to think of larger apartments because families are growing, or to cater more for self-driving cars and implement that kind of infrastructure. But the material aspects of the project would not change, meaning the mixed-use functions primarily will remain residential. It will remain offices. It will not become a box development or, I don't know, a factory or whatever. It's essentially what it is, and then we adapt as the need of people adapt to optimize on that experience in Silk.
Luăm o scurtă pauză și revenim după pauză cu acest subiect legat de cum să regenerăm o dezvoltare durabilă în zonele abandonate încă de pe vremea comunismului.